When you head off to the woods, don't tramp, don't stomp, don't yomp over everything. Slow yourself down. Saunter like a slow moving river. Meander through the trees. Don't just walk in straight lines. To amble and saunter is a way to slow down, to appreciate what's around you. Sound travels differently in the woods, so your ears will direct where your eyes need to look. Follow the sound, place your eyes into that line and then follow it. Follow different tracks, follow different signs, and just enjoy. Don't always stand upright. Your shape and silhouette will stand in contrast to the trees that are around you. When you're looking to observe, even on just a gentle casual walk, place yourself lower down to the ground whilst you're scanning to look across to see if you can see deer and other wildlife. Sometimes it's smaller ones that escape you, so bring yourself down to the ground underneath the browse line like I am now, and then maybe you'll hear other forms of wildlife through the brambles and the bracken. Place yourself with your back against a tree and your shape will completely change and you'll disappear so that your head doesn't stick out. And even though this is just a walk today out in the local wood on my lunch break, I find a bit of time for myself to come out here and just immerse myself in a bit of nature. I come to this glade because it offers light, but I don't stand directly out in it because then I stick out. Where muted colours, different animals see in different scales, so a lot of wildlife will see in a grey scale. Look for signs for where the wildlife have been, their droppings, their scats, the compressions of where they've laid down on the ground. And that will give you an idea of where they frequent most often. But don't spend too long in that area because you will leave a scent, and depending on the wind conditions they will pick that up. They will know that you're there. So allow the wind to come from where the animals you perceive to be in front and let the wind come towards you if you're able to. That's not always the easiest thing to do. You never want the wind coming behind you when you've spotted like a herd of deer or something in the distance. You don't want the wind coming from behind you. They will pick up your scent and that will carry them. So always look for trails, but don't necessarily follow right over the top of them. Step to one side and follow them and see where it takes you. When we talk of our senses, we tend to concentrate on our eyesight. Although I'm holding my phone today without a tripod, I will use my eyesight, but I'll at times just close one hand over so that I focus in. I keep direct sunlight out from one side so that I'm able to focus off, but I use my hearing even more. So whilst the woods are pretty quiet today, yes, I'm aware of background traffic noise, but I'm listening out for the odd bark of a deer, the sudden alarm call of a bird, and whether that's a crow or a magpie or a jay, that alerts me that I've got too close, or the birds have seen me before I go in. So I'm always using my ears. I try to step lightly. Okay, you will learn how to walk in the woods. As I said, we're not stomping through. It's not hurried. We walk more quietly. I speak in more hushed tones. But whilst I walk, I'm scanning the area so that I'm not going to fall over all the detritus, all the broken branches that are on the ground. We're constantly scanning. We place our foot very carefully, one at a time. Hold your mouth open and sense, pick up your olfactory senses. Open your mouth, that picks up into the back of the nasal passage, and you will pick up over time. We do not use our sense of smell nearly as much as we should do. We've kind of forgotten that art. Animals do it far more than us. Open your mouth, let sense come into the back of the nose, and you'll start to pick up certain pungent odours from deer scats, droppings where an animal is urinated, etc. You'll smell certain animals. You know, foxes have a distinct smell. Badgers too. It's a very musty, stinky smell. There is a very distinct trail line that runs through here and disappears off that way. It shows that the deer use a frequent run, so rather than placing yourself downward, they would be able to see you readily. Place yourself above this trail line, up towards the back where you can hide amongst trees, bramble and bracken. This is just a general walk today, just a very quick sort of half an hour walk. I have seen a couple of deer, young, baby, fallow with a mum, but it's brief. The deer are out feeding or hiding in the bracken and the brambles, and I'm not about to go in there and disturb that because this is just a walk. These are just some tips and some pointers to help you immerse yourself into the woods, disappear more easily, and open yourself to being able to find and spot and track wildlife more easy. We're not going into the 5 concealments, you know, your shape, size, shadow, shine and silhouette. That is more of a camouflage technique for real stealthy sort of tracking and stealthy sort of camping. These are just really basic principles and that about using your senses and how to walk carefully. I will do at some point a video on concealment factors because it is actually really interesting, but that's not the video for today. This is the end of my walk. I'm going to head back to the yard. Hope this helps. Nature's out there. Hope you find it. Thanks for tuning in. Catch up again soon.